What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the other side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? Special guest this week, Chris Abcon.
What's going on, everybody?
What is up? So definitely continue to tune in throughout the week. So Monday, Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays Ask Assist P. So look out for that one, and then Fridays everything else. So movies, books, games, all that cool stuff. But without further ado, I'll give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this article is actually from the New York Times, and it's written by Charlie Savage. And so what we're going to discuss here, right? The article is the NSA buys Americans' internet data without warrants, letter says, right? So here's what's kind of crazy about this, right? So if the NSA wants to get any type of information on anybody, when it comes to domestic investigations, they have to get warrants, right? There's the whole court they got to go through to give their reasonings behind it. You know what I mean? This is why we need it. This is the information we already have. But this is talking about them buying internet data that's already out there from data brokers that is available to everyone, to include foreign countries, right? So the discussion ends up being, is this wrong for the NSA to do this? Well, I'll tell you this. I'll give you my stance on this. If the practice is out there for everybody to do, why is the NSA not allowed to do it, right? Like, it's out there for everyone. Why are they subjected differently if it's a practice you've made available to everyone? If you have a problem with the NSA having it, get rid of the practice for everyone, right? Data brokers shouldn't be able to sell it to anyone, a private individual, a company, foreign entities, whatever it may be. So this is where I feel a little different, right? And I know people will see this, they will hear this and be like, no, it's the NSA. They got to go through the processes and the third. Yeah, they do. If it's something that's not available to them, that's not freely available for them to purchase, right? Like, and here's the thing, they have used information like this to solve crimes and to combat different things that have happened in the past, right? Like, they have used this method to make that happen, right? So as you sleep under your blanket of freedom, you know what I mean, not speaking a different language, thank them for that. You know what I mean? Is my is my stance on this, right? But no, you've made it available to everyone. I don't see why it should be one of those things where the rules should be different for government agencies, right? But again, this is just Shannon speaking, right? Like, this is the Patriot Act guy, right? So I have no
Yeah, I'm
problem.
gonna say Patriot Act guy.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I love the Patriot Act. Oh, yeah.
So, like, go get them Terrys. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it. You know what I mean? Go get them Terrys. But no, I don't understand it. I don't understand why it is such a big deal for them. And here's the thing: the NSA knew it was going to be a problem, right? Because they didn't volunteer they were doing this until it was. I'm trying to remember what it was. If it was they weren't going to continue with funding or something. I can't remember what it was, that they kind of had to come forward and be like, all right, yeah, we're doing the same thing too, right? Because what it is they're just urging intelligence agencies to stop buying this internet data, right? It's not like they're telling them, no, you're ordered no longer to do this, right? Because it is something that is out there for everyone. But let me try to find it here, because it was something that happened. Oh, that's what it was. They were holding up the appointment of the next director, is what it was, for the NSA. That's what it was. They were holding up the appointment until they got an answer on whether or not they were doing this, and then they kind of came forward and like, yeah, this is something that we're doing, right? So the NSA knew, like, they knew just by admitting it, the firestorm that was going to follow with this, right? And it's just one of those things where the NSA has had a black eye in the past, right, for other things that they've done, right? The different monitoring and data that they store and things of that nature that have come out. You know what I'm saying? So they knew what they were doing. But again, it's not. I don't see a problem with it if it's available to everyone, right? Like, they shouldn't be held to a different standard. Stop the practice.
Yeah, I mean, that's right on. I mean, if a public corporation can do it, you better believe the biggest data miner in the world, the NSA, will be doing it. And really, according to the article, it's only been publicly disclosed, I think, June 2023, but they've been doing this stuff for years, right? At the same time, it's not until people are aware of privacy issues, things like that, that people actually raise the flag when they believe it affects them. My thing is, hey, I'll let the courts decide, right? If the courts are gonna, mandate the NSA gets a warrant, cool. But at the same time, like you were saying, do private corporations need to get a warrant for this? Or I mean, is it for lawful use? right? So at the end of the day, if the US wants to adopt, or people want to adopt some type of GDPR, or it's the European General Data Privacy regulations, then that needs to be something that needs to be proposed from Congress from the top down, right? But you can't just have, like, I think like you were saying, outrage for the sake of outrage, right? If you're just going to be annoyed with this, but at the same time you understand the NSA is using this to help save lives and protect American people. Um, and then if it comes down to it, right, like if they want to go to the granularity of GDPR, like assigning data controllers, data owners, data stewards, right? I mean, do Americans really have the time to think about that kind of stuff, to really care? I
They
mean, they should
should,
care about their data.
but
They
they,
should
yeah.
care about their data. Um, but is it, it's a deeper discussion than that. It's not as simple as, oh, the NSA shouldn't be doing this, but then at the same time, the NSA should be doing this. Nobody should be doing it. I think Shannon hit it right on the money there.
No, I agree. I was hoping that somebody would be the dissenting point of view. So
Yeah.
I'll play devil's advocate. So I'm pro it. I think NetFlow, when it comes to malware, setting up antivirus, catching those terries and things of that nature is absolutely paramount and necessary for the NSA's mission for cybersecurity. So I believe that them collecting this data absolutely necessary. However, it brings to highlight the practice itself, which is shady, that they have data brokers who are selling American NetFlow in general, right? So like yes, there's if the NSA wanted to do it through regular channels, they would have to get a warrant and things of that nature. However, there is a workaround because Joe Smo, company ABC can do this without needing said warrant, right? They can just buy the data wholesale. NSA just followed suit. So if you do have a problem with NSA doing it, like you guys said, it should be across the board. You should have a problem, and there should be for America to not have its own GDPR or PIPEDA, or because I think that's the Canadian version of it, right? Um, to protect American data is in itself a failure, right? All these other nations are doing it very well, to include now they're making strides for AI and things of that nature, because this is going to become an automated process in the future. It's guaranteed, right? Where whether the NSA does it or not, there will be corporations who want this data for whatever reason, whether it be to protect people, right, for cybersecurity means, or to be able to control their ad revenue or their targeting of specific people and selling things, or collecting the data to then be able to flip it as an ISP to be able to restrict or gate things to make more money, right? Uh, at the end of the day, data is profitable. If you want to protect people, then you need to put up regulation and things of that nature wholesale to protect civilian data. I am okay with this because, like Shannon and Epcon said, or Chris, I'm sorry, I flipped the military, said it's being used to protect us. Now, is it an invasion of privacy? Absolutely. Absolutely, it is an invasion of privacy. But you're okay with it when you click the user agreement, right? You read it, or you probably did not read it,
And
and this is part of it.
and the thing is, and you're right, you do agree to it, right? But the thing is, you care less when Meta does it, right? You care less when one of these other big corporations does it, right? When X or Twitter or whatever does it,
Right.
you care less, right? I think it's because it has the NSA on it, and people, whether you have a fear of the government doing whatever, and like you said, it's net flow data, right? It's not that serious digging into your phone conversations, that we know of. Let me say that we know of.
Right. The Simpsons already exposed that, right?
Right, right,
Decades ago.
right. But it's not the data that you think of when you think of the NSA, poking around and doing whatever, because you automatically go to the highest of, oh, they're listening in on my phone calls, right? It's no longer clicks on the phone, you know what I mean? It's
Right.
just they can listen in without it being clicks anymore, because it's not a landline, right? Right. So, but yeah, I don't know, man. I just stop the practice across the board if you have a problem with it. And I'm not saying the practice is right, right? I'm just saying it's wrong for the NSA to be singled out for it when they're not the only ones doing it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like it's like the Chris Rock special, selective outrage. Is what it is. Like you were okay when it was again, like you said, your Twitters, your Metas, your whomever's who are literally selling it, your data, right? They're making a profit off of you because if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. So they're making like $12 times 1 billion people, or whatever the going rate. I'm sure the rate is even higher now, right? Because data is so precious. Um, they're making $1 bajillion off of you, literally. And you're okay with it. But NSA, this is like, hey, I want to use this to make sure nobody is gonna get you. They're like, oh, wait a minute. Government, you can't have
Hmm.
that. And not to say like, hey, I've read 1984. Like, I'm very dystopic or Orwellian type guy. Like, yeah, you don't want to give them a foothold because then it turns into monitoring, right? Um, but again, in this practice, it was already happening. And I think it's more nefarious for Mark Zuckerberg to be listening to your NetFlow data than it is the NSA agent. Just my opinion. Like the 1984 is coming from the civilian corporations, not necessarily the
Mhm.
government. They're kind of late to the game, actually, in that regard. So
Also
I don't know.
consider that like NSA's got like rules of engagement. They can't be just willy-nilly looking at American people's data, right?
Right,
There's got
right.
to be
Elon does
engagement.
not.
Yeah,
There are no ROEs for Elon. He's just looking at it.
exactly.
How can I make more money off of you? What are you looking at? You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like again, I think it's selective outrage, and I don't want to be too pro government spying. However, in this regard, you're being spied on by civilians. So like pick your battles. I'd rather I'd rather it be more sanctioned than not. So yeah, at the end of the day, I think they're gonna have to like this is gonna cause them to create rules, which is a good thing in this regard, right? I don't believe in overregulation, but I believe in regulation in general, and there is no regulation in this current area of commerce, right? Because data is for sale, and your data is for sale, and you've opted in. So now we'll make some rules for it. We'll slow this process down, only because now that you're worried that Big Brother is watching. So it's kind of weird, but if it works, it works, right? And then everyone will have new rules, NSA will have new rules, but at the end of the day, you won't have private companies siphoning this data and then selling it to the highest bidder, or they'll give you another user agreement that lets you opt into it, and you opt in wholesale. So it is what it is. But definitely continue to tune in throughout the week. So Monday, Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays Ask Sis P. Definitely tune in to the last one for last week and as well as this one, and all of them. They're all good. All right, definitely tune into those. And then Friday, everything else, movies, books, games, all that good stuff. So definitely hit us up by the websites that go by our name. Hit me up personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. You can find me on Twitter, Threads, Clubhouse, and LinkedIn. And you, Chris?
And connect with me on LinkedIn under Chris Abacon, spelled A Bacon.
There it is. Stay safe, stay secure.